Cheese biscuits and gravy. How you doing? How you do, Buckaroos? How the heck are you? I'm going to be Tom the Beer and Whiskey Whisperer for the purposes of this video. Anyways, how are you, man? It's a little bit earlier on a Saturday than I usually find myself able to do a video for one reason or another. But nevertheless, here we are. Here we are, man. Here we are. There it is. Check something real quick. I actually did something a little bit different today, or I'm going to do something a little bit different. Is sometimes I have my product open because I've taken pictures. Here I'm going to open, or not, I'm going to pour the beer and pour the whiskey right in front of you. Just make those choices on the spot. Well, that's not quite true. The beer's already been chosen. The whiskey, I've got a couple of things. I got a possibility. But, anyways, regardless, I want to pour it right in front of you. The beer, I found a beer. I found it, man. It was in. No, it was in the fridge. I kind of forgot it was there. It'd been there for a while. It's our Maibach, the Banner Brewing Maibach. So it's been there a couple months, man. So we'll see if I canned it right. If I canned it right, it's still gonna be fine. It's a Maibach, so it's not a real hoppy beer. So I shouldn't be too concerned. But nevertheless, daughter skull. That adjustment there and see if that gets me in the right spot. Oh, in the wall. All right, let me set that down. So this is I love this Maibach. It's one of my favorite beers. Is at 7.3%, one of my very favorite American versions of this style. It is just insanely good. And I love the Maibach. It's big and malty, just a touch sweet. But I love those noble hops. Now I'm a guy that loves big, crazy double IPA, so I love those hops too. But there's something about classic styles, man, where you use very specific hops for a very specific reason. So I know I canned this for myself. So let's hope I canned it right and it survived. It's been in my fridge about 3 months. I realized it was there, man. I drank them all. I was certain of it. I was sure, man. Oh man, that is nice. And I think we're gonna be okay. That nose is insane. Malty, a little nutty, just like me. Little malty, little nutty. Anyways, oh yeah, that's gorgeous. We're gonna be just fine. We're gonna be just fine. So the reason I didn't pour the whiskey ahead of time is I had a pretty good idea which one I was gonna go with. But I wanted to taste that beer before I picked the whiskey. I wanted to make sure it was that right mix. I had two in mind, but I'm gonna narrow in on this one here. The Revelation Double Barrel Whiskey from Heaven's Door, that collaboration with Bob Dylan. Bottled by Heaven's Door, distilled. God, I can't read that. That's some tiny ass room. Distilled in three different places. Wow, that's well. Anyways, yeah, it's a label whiskey. What are you gonna do? But I will tell you that I have enjoyed all the products I've had from them. So they are choosing correctly. What I would like to know, though, and what I'm very curious about, I am a Bob Dylan fan. And those are, well, why he can't sing? Well, of course he can't sing. He never could sing. But it's that sound. If you love those words that he writes, which are just amazing. It wasn't about being, and especially for that time, right? Woody Guthrie couldn't sing. John Prine couldn't sing. None of these guys could sing. It wasn't about that. It was about the emotion behind the voice. That's why these guys were successful. That and well, I mean, you had to have some amazing lyrics behind it, but yeah, that's what it was. It was that emotion that made it amazing. Yeah. So a nice 2 ounce pour there. I'm gonna set that down. There was a time I would just pour in there, but now I'm kind of measured, right? I need to know exactly how much whiskey I'm allowing myself. I need to know, man. It's important for how we get to the next video. Uh, 'Cause I did do an early video today, but it's been an hour and change since then, so I kind of try to pace myself. Ugh. When I worked for Saddlebach in Springdale, Arkansas, he did a nice my Bach. It was um, closer to this. Well, let me say this. So Steve had German roots, right? So he added some Woodruff to his Maybach, which some would say that's not traditional. Um, which on a grand scale it isn't, but it is regional to where his ancestry was. It's a great beer though. That little bit of Woodruff just did something. Made it very, very, very added some earthy notes to those herbal noble hops. But this one that Banner does is just insanely good. Can't believe I still had one in there. I was certain I drank them all. So I don't worry about dates as much as a lot of beer geeks do. Because if the beer was canned correctly, and I canned this one, so I was praying I didn't fuck it up. I canned this one myself, damn it. No, but if it was canned correctly, it's gonna last. So if you're talking about the hazy or New England style IPA specifically, yeah, they may have a tad bit of a shelf life. Not that the beer is going to go bad. It won't go bad. It's just going to taste different because those are formulated in such a very specific way that those hops are going to change quickly. But oh no, because I've got it set up there. I didn't realize you're coming through. We got a little mishap. Typically, I set my stand over here so my wife can slip by, but there's no way she can get through here unless she jumps through the window there. Little space over here. Trying to figure out how she can get through off camera. Anyways, yeah, I usually set over here, but I was trying to get a very specific angle. But nevertheless, actually, I can't change the set so she can't go through here. I can move this here. Going okay. Uh, So, as true to sorry about that, but as true to style, yeah, you're gonna get a little bit, right? You get a little bit of sweetness. It's a little sweet, a little nutty. You get those herbal nobles, a little bit of earthiness as well. Let's set that down for a half a heartbeat. I'm gonna pick up this whiskey. Again, I got 2 ounces neat here. Uh, Been a nice Saturday. It seems like some of the Saturdays I've had off lately, I've been had to get so much done that I haven't been able to relax. By the time I get back to work, I'm still not relaxed. But today's been nice, man. I was able to get out a little bit and took my wife to get her haircut. I met some friends for informal bottle sharing. Came home, relaxed. No, no, you're good. You're good. Bruce. Oh, that's nice whiskey. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I've had to kind of relax my way of thinking as far as label whiskeys are concerned. It used to be I wanted that distiller, right? If you didn't distill it, I didn't want to buy it. But there's so many label whiskeys out there, some places or blenders actually that will that they have their label, they have their style, their lane, if you will. But the truth is, there are so many celebrities out there doing this, and 90% of them, if not closer to 99% of them, are just crap. I mean, as much as I admired Sammy Hagar, his tequila was shit. It just seems like, I mean, and Jesse James bourbon, I mean, please, that stuff was crap. So it just seems like almost every celebrity that tosses their name on something, it is shit. But I gotta tell you, this Heaven's Door stuff is good because I didn't want to like it. I'll be honest with you. No, well, let me say that differently. I wanted to like it because it's Bob Dylan. I didn't expect to like. I really wanted to, but I didn't expect to. Because label whiskeys typically are just that. They're label whiskeys. Somebody slapped the name on. They walked through a house. Okay, take this one, this one, this. And I would like to know, in all honesty, how much hands-on Dylan did have in this, because I am a fan of Dylan. The music, anyway. I mean, he's got a reputation from some for being a bit of an asshat. But quite frankly, who doesn't, right? You could talk to 100 people that know me, and 50 of them are going to tell you I'm a wonderful human being. 50 are going to tell you I'm just one incredible asset. There's not a little bit of ground with me, right? Because I'm a very distinct personality. So I mean, if you are if you are very open in your views, how you are as an individual, there's not going to be a lot of middle ground, right? You're like 30% think you're an ass, 30% think you're wonderful, but you got this. They just think you're all right. No. For me, in all honesty, they're going to either think I'm a very caring individual or just a big ass. There's not a little middle ground with someone like me. And I feel like Bob Dylan is that same kind of personality. You're either going to love him or not. So I kind of take that with a grain of salt when I look at the reasons why they don't like Bob. Well, the reasons why people don't like me. Some might be legitimate depending on your point of view. I mean, I'm not a raging right wing nut peckerhead. Anyways, uh, it does drive me crazy though. There's sometimes I intentionally inject politics, and sometimes it just kind of ends up in there. I, I don't try to shy away from it, but I don't intentionally. Well, no, let's not say that. I rarely intentionally throw it in there, but we're just in that society right now. Things are just so bizarre right now. It's like we're living real life idiocracy right now. Holy crap. You actually voted for somebody that you knew was a rapist, you knew was a felon, you knew you knew was a pedophile, you knew he was a known predator, you knew all of this and still voted for him? I mean, cheese biscuits and gravy. How fucking stupid are you? I mean, how much of a raging, no, let's take that back. Let's say, how much of a raging bigot are you that you intentionally voted somebody that you know is all those things? Well, Tom, that's just your opinion? No, it's not my opinion. Those are facts. He Trump is a racist. Those are facts. These are verifiable facts. He is a rapist. That's a verifiable fact. He's a felon. That's a verifiable fact. He's a known predator. Again, a verifiable fact. He's a known con man. Again, a verifiable fact. Not my opinion. These are the reality of the situation. But people, oh no, I don't believe that. I like him, but I don't. If you voted for if right now after all that has gone on these few months, if you still support this guy, yes, you're okay with pedophilia. You're okay with you're okay with everything he does. You've decided that your intentional ignorance is better than the betterment of the country. This is, you've made that conscious decision that you're okay with everything he has done. That for whatever reason he gets a pass. These things are bad. I do believe you think those things are bad, but for whatever reason the rules don't apply to him. That's why folks like us are very concerned about people like you because we know you're in a cult, but you don't seem to realize that. But people in a cult never do until they get deprogrammed and they go, oh shit, I can't believe I did that. But you've all decided that you're okay with all the stuff he does because your bigotry is important to you. Anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. Let me get back to my beer here. There was a time in my craft beer journey where the Maibach was my absolute favorite style. Is it now? No, probably not. But in fairness, I don't know that I have a favorite style anymore because there are just so many great ones. My favorite style kind of depends on my mood at any given time. I would typically say as per season, but I don't even know if that's true. A lot of it, again, just depends on my mood at that particular time. And a lot of it depends on when I walk into your brewery, what I see on your menu, right? Or I'll walk in and say, my bog looks pretty. You got a my bog on here. I got to see what you do. But I will tell you, 90% of the time, I rarely order flights. But 90% of the time, the first time I walk into a brewery, if I see whatever I see on that menu, I'm gonna order whatever classic style you have on there. For instance, you got that double IPA. I'm intrigued by it. I want to order that. But if you've got a Pilsner, a classic German style or Czech Pilsner, if you've got an English mild or any classic style, I'm gonna order that first because I want to see if you can brew, right? Because if you can make a classic German style pilsner, if you can make an English mild to style, if you can, yeah, if you can do certain things right as per style, then I know you can do other things. I'm not going to order that crazy beer right off the top. If I walk in your brewery and I see nothing but adjuncts from one top to the other, I'm going to think you're hiding something. You've learned how to hide flies throwing shit in your beer. But if you can make a flawless German style pilsner, I'm all in. And I'm not talking about that is perfect to my taste, right? I'm not saying that German Pilsner that you brewed, I'm not saying it has to fit my taste 100%. I just want to know it's not flawed. If I could taste that beer and say, well, I would do this different or I like this more or that more, if I could drink that beer and say, oh, this is flawless, there's nothing wrong with this. It may not fit my taste preference 100%, but it's flawless. You made no mistakes here. Then I'm going to try everything on your damn menu. Time permitting. I'll probably have a couple of free beers. Let me be honest. But nevertheless. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I want to know that you can brew, right? Anybody can chuck 100 ingredients in something and kind of make it good. But if you've got something very simple, again, a classic German style pilsner, an English mild, if you screw it up there, everybody's gonna know. So whether the style is perfect for me, whether the taste is exactly what I want, as long as it's not flawed, I'm all in. I'm rather lucky here in Springfield, Mo. I mean, we're not a great big town. I think we're about 170,000, so we're not huge. We're not small, but we're not huge either. But we've got 11 breweries, so we are a little top heavy, but we do have some good stuff here for the most part. There's a couple breweries I don't go to, and not because they're bad, and mostly just because they're not doing my kind of not a big not a big trendy beer guy. I don't dig sours. I don't dig milkshakes. I mean, if you're making beer for the 20 to 30 some crowd, that's probably I'm 60, so you're probably not brewing for me. But if you've got some big doubles, if you got some classics, yeah, I'm all yeah, there I am, man. Anyways, let me set this down for a second and pick that whiskey back up. Getting close to my vacation, got just a few weeks. I'm looking forward to seeing a couple of friends. Haven't seen them in a while. I'm very excited about that. Now, my wife isn't necessarily excited about hitting the brewery, but there is other things out there that I think we're both really interested and relaxed about. They've got a big farmers market out there. I know that's really an old person's thing. Yeah, farmers market. Oh my god. We got a farmers market here in town. It's okay, but it's not great, right? It's some most of the stuff is rather overpriced. I don't know. Springfield seems to think a lot of itself. Really? A few years ago when we were in the Kansas City area, we went to the Overland Park farmers market. That thing was a monster. Everything was so good. And then we come back here. This is fucking disappointing. So we're gonna hit there. Where we're going, we're gonna hit that farmers market, and I've heard some really good things about it. It's pretty awesome. So I'm very excited about that. We're gonna load up on some stuff. So we do spend some money when we're out on vacation. And I certainly buy a lot of beer and whiskey, but we also buy a lot of food. That's kind of the point of why we go. Because like the farmers markets, I want to buy as much produce as I can to get back home. But then I want to buy as much from local markets or meat markets and that kind of thing and get back home. So even though I've spent the money on vacation, but now my fridge is full, right? I bought the dry goods, I bought the meat, I bought the veg, so now we're good to go. Revelation double barrel whiskey. This one comes out at 100 proof. It's really nice, man. Um, the Evansdorf products that I've had, I gotta admit, are rather good. Um, a while back, I bought a cask of their rye that was insane, and so I got this 3 bottle set here in town at the Total Wine. They're 3 small 200 ml bottles, but it was only 14.99. So I mean, it was definitely worth it. Anyways, I digress. I'm going to knock this back. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisper, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and she's wisdom bacon. I'm also Tom the Beer Whisperer, Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, all around good guy. Sludge.